Hello.
Cindy, have you admitted everyone?
Hi, Mark is here.
Sounds good. Okay,
Kalyani.
sounds good. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Transformation Through Connections virtual conversation with the Benedict Center. My name is Margaret Bailey Stewart, and I'm the president of the board of directors for the Benedict Center. Thank you all for joining us today to hear firsthand how the Benedict Center connects to the community. I'd be remiss if I did not thank all the current and past board members that are on today, and thank everyone that has continued to provide support in some way to support the work of the Benedict Center. A few housekeeping rules. Please make sure to mute your microphone to avoid interruptions and feedback. Also, please set your settings to view speaker mode. To do this, there's an option at the top right-hand corner of your screen. There are 3 dots at the top right-hand corner of your screen that will allow you to select speaker mode. If you're doing this via a cell phone or a tab or an iPad or some other device, the 3 dots are typically located in the bottom more options area. Please submit any questions in the chat box. The chat box will be monitored throughout the program, and questions will be answered at the end of our conversation during the Q&A. Questions that are not addressed during the Q&A will be responded to via email after today. And now I have the pleasure of introducing our very first speaker, Jean Gerasi, Executive Director for the Benedict Center. Jean and her team work tirelessly to connect with women involved in the criminal justice system to help them transition to better lives. Jean?
Thank you, Margaret, and welcome everybody, and thank you for taking the time to join us for our first virtual event, Transformation Through Connection. And when we were thinking about a theme for wanting to connect with you all at the end of the year, at the end of this year in particular, the idea of, obviously COVID is very prominent, and I think one of the most difficult parts of COVID is the social isolation that so many of us are experiencing. And really the antidote to that is connection, even if it's not always in-person connection like we'd like to have. And, you know, the Benedict Center's work has always been about connection as we're connecting with the justice-involved women that we work with. Our work has also always been about transformation. It's one of our key values in our tagline. It's what our logo symbolizes, the butterfly and transformation. But also as we think about 2020, rather than thinking about when do we get back to normal, I think after a year of this pandemic, after seeing the rise of the Black Lives Matter movement in response to the murder of George Floyd and others, experiencing an extremely polarized presidential election and shaky economy where many people are unemployed, I think that actually what we want to look forward to is a transformation, a new kind of future. And what better way to build that than through connection? So this is our theme. We're hoping to connect with you as well. And we're going to really just highlight the work of our Benedict Center and what we've been able to do this year. So Benedict Center is a leader in providing innovative and effective treatment, education, and support for justice-involved women. We began as part of St. Benedict the Moors Jail Ministry, thus our name, and later we became an independent interfaith organization. We've always kept our founding values of compassion, justice, action, and transformation. The heart of what we do is a focus on the behavioral health of women in the justice system while helping them exit the criminal justice system. Through strategic partnerships and skilled case management on behalf of our staff, we connect women to basic needs like healthcare and housing. Not only do we advocate for individuals, but we advocate for systems change so that we can create a more just and equitable criminal justice system for all people. In order to give an overview of all of the issues confronting justice-involved women, I'm just going to share this very brief video with you to give you an overview.
Each year,
More than 1 million women are involved in the criminal justice system. What's the story she brings with her? Has she committed a nonviolent crime? Has she herself experienced violence or abuse? Maybe she is dealing with a drug or alcohol addiction. Or perhaps she needs mental health treatment. Has she struggled to get ahead? Was she homeless recently? Or does she lack a basic high school education? Maybe she's a mother with minor children at home. Or maybe she's entering the system pregnant. Unaddressed, these issues can create an unending cycle, filtering her through the system again and again. How can we change this? We can help her address previous trauma, consider alternatives to incarceration, and address her specific needs as a mother. We can use gender-informed approaches that are backed by research and have been implemented with success. To find out more, visit the National Resource Center on Justice Involved Women's website at cjinvolvedwomen.org.
So when we think about our programs, they really are in direct response to all of these issues that were just mentioned in the previous video. Our Women's Harm Reduction Program, the Women's Reentry Program at the House of Correction, the Community Justice Program, and our Sisters Program. Later, we're going to hear from the program directors of each of those, and we'll go into more depth about what this year has looked like for those programs. But first, I want to give an overview of what is in common for all of our Benedict Center programs and how we really act as a whole agency. So when we're working with women in the criminal justice system, we are actually connecting with them at all of these different points of the criminal justice system, from in the community, pre-contact, ideally, all the way through to reentry and community supervision. How we connect. We take our guiding philosophies and approaches very seriously. We spend a lot of time training and talking about and in doing quality assurance to see how aligned we are with these key evidence-based strategies. And really, we could do a seminar on each one of these in depth, but for now, I just want to share these with you and just pull out one as an example, which is harm reduction, which is an approach we take in all of our programs. And what harm reduction sounds like to a client, is our attention anyway, is that we will walk with you at your pace, and we know it's never a straight path, and that's okay. Harm reduction is really based on an understanding of how people change, specifically how people might also process through drug addiction and recovery. We've been talking about connections, how we connect. Well, to what aim is for the transformation in participants' lives. Because we're evidence-based, we want to track and know that women's lives are better for having participated in our programs. So these are the kinds of outcomes that we're tracking to make sure that our programs are delivering what we intended them to. So they can be things like decreasing the negative impact of drugs and alcohol in their lives, or it might be improving their parenting skills. One thing that really makes us unique is that we work with women on the legal obligations that they have with the criminal justice system. Again, these are the technical, if you will, pieces that we're tracking in our database. But again, what really matters to us is how does success feel for the women themselves? How would they describe their success? And while I'm not a direct service worker in our agency, I'm really blessed to be able to move around in some of the program spaces and meet the women. And I can tell you, I've heard statements like this over the years of my tenure here at the Benedict Center. And when I hear women say, things like this, I know that they have reached really important goals in their lives, and it really has made a difference. So I want to give you a chance to hear, not just from me, but from the program directors who are leading their staff on the very front lines of our work. When COVID hit, we quickly learned that the governor considered what we do to be an essential service. It wasn't easy to make the shifts and the changes that we needed to for COVID, and our leaders here have really bravely led their staff into finding the most innovative and creative ways to continue serving women through a very challenging year. So I'd like to introduce them. First, Nosha Perry, our clinical program director with the Women's Harm Reduction Program. Katie Lynch, associate director with the Women's Reentry Program at the House of Correction, and Melinda Hughes, program director of the Sisters Program. So first, we'll hear from Nosha. Take it away, Nosha.
Thanks, Jean. I'm Nosha, Women's Harm Reduction Clinical Program Director. And in the Women's Harm Program, it is a fully operational state licensed substance abuse and mental health clinic. In my department, we have 3 full-time therapists, 1 program assistant, receptionist, 6 graduate interns from various colleges and universities in and out of state. Each year, Women's Harm provides services to approximately 212 women from various referral sources within our justice system and child protective services. We work with women to help them meet their personal goals and to hopefully obtain a better quality of life so that they can remain in the community instead of incarceration. And we offer these programs to assist with the development of life and coping skills through anger management, anger and stress management, AODA support, moving on, which is our cognitive behavioral group, Connections, which I was a little bit excited about hearing that name, the transformation through connections, because that's what it boils down to for us as human beings and all of this and everything. It is that ability to be able to come together, to be seen, to be heard, to feel a part of. And that connection is a class that we do offer here for the women in order to build a strength resilience in order to help them to continue on their journey. And so DBT Skills Group is another group that we offer, the Seeking Safety to deal with trauma and mindfulness. And so we offer these groups individually as well as group sessions. And our community partners, Department of Corrections, Wisconsin Community Services, Mental Health America, State Public Defender's Office, wow, Milwaukee County Behavioral Health, Marquette. I mean, we deal with a lot of partners because that's what it's about. It's that connection. It's all of us together. It takes a village. And so that is with all of you, our partners that we are very grateful to be in partnership with. And in our program, it has been transformed by COVID tremendously. The impact, we've had to build a virtual platform from scratch. And we are therapists and helpers and not very good with IT, but we are very creative and flexible and smart and have this desire to help our women. And so that's how we end up getting a lot of things done. We figure out what we need to in order to help provide a service and support to our clients. And so we've gone from 100% in-person services to 98% remote viral services. And currently we have approximately 80 active clients. We're now able to conduct intakes, assessments, treatment plans, individual counseling, group sessions, all through teleservices, something we had not had before, something that I had never envisioned, but working with a bright and creative, talented group of people that I work with, were able to show me how that was made possible. And pretty much everything that we did uh, in person is now tele. And some people are still working on getting there. And it just showed me how much desire and creativity and energy that it took in order for this team to be able to get to where it is today, providing these services virtually. And for our women, excuse me, that comes down to us having to learn to adapt all of our services to the use of a cell phone, because the majority of our clients, they can't afford a computer, don't have computers. And so they're maneuvering their way through this pandemic on a cell phone provided by Benedict Center. Through that cell phone, the women have reported that they are able to connect with their family, get to reach their doctor's appointment, contact their agents, access community services, those that are left, and increase their own personal safety by getting this cell phone. We currently are providing or working on, we're working on what we call a Chrome tablet pilot, having difficulties finding the Chrome tablets because most of the world is on the Chromebooks. And so we did find nice big huge tablets to be able to start to help our women to be able to compete in what we're all facing right now. And so that did start with what we are able to prevent in the events that we had this year. This year, the Benedict Center has been able to host several events, and we were able to capture a few of these events on camera. And so we have the Spectrum, was able to help us to kick these events off, to show us that it is possible. And Spectrum they provided us with safe and healthy home kits. Marvelous, huge boxes with things for your home, smoke detector. It had cleaning supplies. It had weather stripping, radio, caulking. I mean, it was beautiful. Definitely, helpful to be safer at home. And that was sponsored by Margaret Bailey Stewart, who you saw in the beginning. And this woman was phenomenal. She has a long title. She's actually our board president. And for Spectrum, she is a senior manager, government affairs, and of the Carter communication. And I'm like, wait, what? I ran out of room on my page trying to put all that stuff on there. But when I saw her, I'm thinking, oh boy, gotta watch my P's and Q's. But she got out, she set things up, she talked to the women, she handed out kits. I mean, she was very active in participating in this, and she listened to the women as they came to our table. And there's a picture of the ladies, coming and getting the kits, and Janet smiling, and hey, it was a great day, and that helped me to see that there was more to come. And so with that, or after that, came Common Ground came for our voter registration event. The Marquette Mobile Legal Clinic had also come here and helped the ladies for any other actual legal things that they wanted. They'd help you with your credit. They would help you with whatever issue that you had. So you just tell them, and then they give you a resource for it, or they may have been able to fix it themselves. We had a virtual back to school bash. Our program assistant Janet said, let's have a back to school. And I couldn't envision how that could happen. And I'm like, because we're all stuck behind these computers and thinking about the safer at home and then this. And she said, yeah, and let's give a few food distribution. And so they got school supplies and food items to take with them during that. And so it was, man, it was beautiful. So the ladies came, picked the things up, and then they were released. So it was basically a curbside, but we had school supplies and a few food distribution for that. And then we have our Thanksgiving giveaway, the Friends of the Benedict Center. They were so helpful in that they got 50 boxes for us, all the fixings, the trimmings, and gift card for the turkey. So they arranged everything. We didn't have to do anything except pick it up and put it on the tables and distribute it. They have worked very hard for us to provide food for us. One of the things that have been most helpful, especially in our community, is food. And so that's the time where you can relax, put your hair down, and have a conversation. Food just seems to bring that connection and make it even more stronger. And during this time of COVID, they still found a way to help us to do that. So thank you, Friends of the Benedict Center, with helping us to, every woman that wanted a dinner for Thanksgiving, they were able to get one thanks to the Friends of the Benedict Center. And also you'll see some of our kits at the bottom, our health and hygiene. So they contain things to clean your home as well as things to clean your body. And so now we're planning for our Christmas giveaway, which will be December the 16th. And so we're still collecting toys and food for that drive. So we've been engaging our participants by Zoom. We learned to hold group and individual sessions through the cell phones, which has been really amazing to me. The women are so resilient and just so willing, to help us, to help me, to help each other. They are very grateful. They look out for one another. They look out for each other. They look out for us. They are just very, very resilient and will take every opportunity that they can to make things better. And even though I think I'm trying to do something that's going to help them, they always end up helping me. And our first call for help came from a woman who just said, I have no toilet paper and I don't know what to do. And this was like the second day that we shut down. And I'm going, okay, so I get this message. What do? We find toilet paper, we respond. And so we grabbed whatever we had here to clean the house, food items, and got our resources and began our curbside, dropped it off to her. And then we got another call. This woman, she was pregnant, had a small kid, no food, no transportation, didn't know what to do. So we had two counselors, they got together, figured out how they could go to a food pantry, get some food, get clothes, everything this woman needed, cleaning supplies, and dropped it over to her house. And while I thought that being virtual was, yeah, that's all we got to deal with it, I've seen some amazing things happen. I've seen that the women were engaged as much as they have been in person. About a month ago, this lady, I get a message, and this lady says that she tells the group in session, I don't want to go home. She shares that she has to have sex with her uncle in order. She has to trade sex to have a roof over her head daily. So I get this message, and the person telling me this in their group is like, and then I hear it and I'm like, because it's like, what do you, and just to know that that's level of concern and care and intimacy, and that trust that it takes to in order to say that, to tell that. I can't even imagine what that was like being in that group, because I know how I felt just hearing it. And so the ladies pulled whatever information they had, they supported her, didn't judge her, and said what they thought would be helpful. And then I got the the message. And so then it's time to spring into action. What do we do? Because this lady is saying, you know what, I'm not going to be able to do this again. I'm going to take off, and I'm just going to toss all caution to the wind. I don't care about my probation. I don't care about, what I've been working hard for, because I can't do it again. So we ended up finding her, a place to go. And now she is moving into her own place. So we've had some successes as well. People have found stable housing and legal gainful employment during this time.
Thank you, Nosha.
So now I am introducing to you our it's already up there because I was like, okay, I'm gonna mess it up. Women's Reentry Program Associate Director is Katie Carnell Lynch. It's housed out at the House of Correction, and for the past 4 years, Katie has been working with me to help me to make this place better, and to also help me with those technical issues, because I got nothing. So I always lean on her to help me with that. So thank you so much, Katie. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Nosha. I do have to say that at Benedict Center, we are like a family, and I definitely could not do my job without the support of Nosha. So thank you, Nosha, for everything you do. You are the backbone to our agency, and I really appreciate and value you. So as Nosha mentioned, my name is Katie Lynch, and I'm the Associate Director of our Women's Reentry Program. The Women's Reentry Program works with women who are incredibly resilient and resourceful. So it's really important that we use those existing skills and strengths and maximize them while providing women with wellness sessions, linking and connecting them to case management resources, and providing them with mobile reentry visits. Now, if you're familiar with our reentry program, some of these service provisions that I just mentioned may sound new to you, and you would absolutely be correct. Prior to the pandemic, our Women's Reentry Program was primarily located on site at the House of Correction in Franklin, Wisconsin. However, once COVID-19 hit, for the safety of everyone, our program was removed from the institution and all in-house services were suspended. Next slide. With that being said, after we suspended in-house services, we still deployed various strategies to connect with women who were still incarcerated, and we reached out to women in real time as they were being released from the HOC and subsequently returning home. Because our program was no longer on site, we collaborated with HOC to receive daily updates on who was being released and when they were scheduled to return to the community. This allowed our program to connect with women to help them navigate the ever-changing service provisions in our community and to provide them with salient services and support. During this time, we also reached out to women who had previously worked in our program pre-COVID within the past year. And as you can see in this slide, this past spring, we created care packages for the women who were still at HOC during the time. During the pandemic, when so many other services and resources are limited or closed, we have seen firsthand how critical it is for our program to provide robust, comprehensive community support to the women we serve. We have also noted that it is in the community that women need help to navigate these scarce resources related to the issues of housing, healthcare, employment, intimate partner violence, mental health, substance use services, in order to increase their recovery efforts. Women need help coping with everyday stressors and isolation, which have now just multiplied tenfold by the pandemic. This is why our program has been offering wellness sessions. Wellness sessions use a telehealth approach to help women address current psychosocial stressors in their lives and to enhance safe coping skills and increase self-efficacy. We do this by providing therapeutic support and engaging in gender-specific evidence-based curricula. As an incentive for wellness sessions, as you can see in this slide, there's a little gift card in there. Next to on the leprechaun, we have been providing women with gift cards as a way to help meet some of those basic needs that they have. Next slide. Now more than ever, I think it is vitally important that our program is literally meeting women where they are, which is why we offer mobile reentry visits to the women we serve. Mobile reentry is where staff travels to meet women where they are in order to provide face-to-face visits to deliver essential basic needs. These include our Safer at Home kits, which provide cleaning and hygiene supplies, food, clothing, and worksheets on safe coping skills and other topics for women to work on between sessions with staff. In an effort to break social isolation, build rapport, and increase support, mobile reentry can also include wellness sessions with clients. These typically occur in a private area outdoors and are on an as-needed basis depending on a client's situation. All staff and clients adhere to strict COVID-19 safety measures during all mobile reentry visits. Through this pandemic and through hardships and challenges in general, we have seen firsthand that staff and clients are rising to the occasion. Our agency is committed to providing harm reduction approaches to our clients by identifying their increasing needs and adapting to them. I think one of the best ways to help conceptualize the services our program has been providing is by highlighting examples from Terry's and Tanya's work with us. Terry was a former client in our reentry program who had successfully completed our program. Although she had been formally discharged for an extended period of time, Terry reached out to reentry staff to reconnect to get help. Terry disclosed that she had recently been stabbed by her on-again, off-again partner. Because of the strong relationship that had been established, Terry felt safe reaching out to reentry staff. She knew she could rely on staff to provide the support and resources she needed. Terry has since filed for a restraining order, a decision she previously debated while working on in our program, and she is now receiving the support and treatment in the community for her mental health needs that address her specific issues related to intimate partner violence. Another example of the work we've been doing is with Tanya. During one of Tanya's wellness sessions, she disclosed that her son had been arrested during a Black Lives Matter protest. Throughout her session, Tanya received support and information on useful resources, one of which is the Milwaukee Freedom Fund. With this knowledge of these resources, Tanya reached out to the Milwaukee Freedom Fund, which paid her son's bail, who was then released from jail. Because Tanya was reunited with her son, she is now better able to focus on her reentry needs. Next slide. Despite the unprecedented challenges of this year, it has become more apparent than ever that we are better together. Thank you for spending time with us here today to learn about the good work our agency is providing during these trying times, but more importantly, getting a glimpse into the lives of the phenomenal women we serve. Please stay safe and be well. And now I will be turning it over to our Executive Director, Jean Gerasi, who will be talking about our Community Justice Program.
Thank you, Katie, and thanks for sharing your stories and the stories of the women. Community Justice Program is the program that houses our advocacy and systemic change work. We are advocating for systems change in the criminal justice system so that women and all people are treated justly. We especially focus on advocating for health equity approaches instead of criminalization of drug use, mental illness, trauma, poverty, victimization, and exploitation. Advocating for pre-arrest diversions for women in the street-based sex trade who use drugs has been a focus since 2012. And in the last couple of years, building off of that, we have begun advocating for increased access to housing and treatment for those very same women. I'm going to share just a bit about that housing work because that's really what's newest for us. So a couple years back, because of our partnership with the medical college, we were able to do a study, a survey of women on the north side of Milwaukee, women who work in the street-based sex trade, and learned that 50% of them were homeless. We now had the data to confirm what participants had always told us, which was that homelessness was one of their critical barriers for being able to move forward. We learned about housing first, which is really harm reduction for housing. And it has proven that when you can provide a person with housing first, they have that foundation where they can build everything else. Traditionally, social services have had that flipped around, and we expect a person to somehow pull it together, stop using drugs, get a job, and then at the end, somehow your reward is a house. Housing First is flipping that around. I think it's very intuitive to us to understand, and it's really building traction in the housing world. But we're not a housing provider, and even if we were, we could only help a few women at a time with the shelter. So we decided that the best solution to move forward would be to partner with housing providers in the housing system so that we could find ways to increase access to women, increase access to housing for women in the street-based sex trade, that we would find ways to change protocols and policies. Our key system partners here are the Advancing a Healthier Wisconsin Endowment of the Medical College of Wisconsin, the Milwaukee County Housing Division, Impact 211, and Milwaukee's Continuum of Care. As a result of the work over the last couple of years now, we've already seen some pretty significant progress. For one, there's really an increased awareness of the unmet housing needs for our target population among the housing providers and within the housing system. We've been able to establish a new cross-sector collaboration called Empower to create a pre-arrest diversion policy specifically for women in the street-based sex trade who use opioids and other drugs. The Benedict Center is now formally part of the COC and therefore able to access, serve as a key access point to housing services for the women that in many ways we have unique access to that the housing system was not previously reaching. We also now have housing navigation dedicated to us through the Milwaukee County Housing Division, and their work combined with our staff's strong advocacy has led to connecting over 30 women to safer shelter and housing just in the last year. And for us, these are record high numbers for housing outcomes. And along the way, and as we continue this work, there is research and evaluation being conducted by partners at the Medical College of Wisconsin that will be able to inform our future work as well as sharing lessons learned with others across the country. Another thing I'm really proud of here at the Benedict Center is the commitment that the board of directors has made to exploring ways that the Benedict Center can sustainably increase its advocacy work to affect social change for women in the criminal justice system. This conversation was already underway, but in the wake of George Floyd's murder and the response in the community and nationwide, it became even more urgent. And so we have begun talking about how our systems change work needs to be through a racial justice and gender justice lens in order to best achieve our mission. So we hope that in 2021 we'll have more developed and we'll be able to invite you to join us in that advocacy work. So the piece that you might have should have backed up and explained is that our systems change work often goes very much hand in hand with our direct service work. In fact, it's our direct service work that gives us insights into the kinds of systems changes that are needed that we might not otherwise have. And so that housing work has been really hand in hand with the Sisters program. So I'd like to introduce Melinda Hughes, who's the relatively new program director of the Sisters program, and she came in at a pivotal point for the Sisters program and has really helped build it and grow it, even in the midst of probably one of the hardest years that I could possibly imagine. So Melinda, would you like to take it away? Do we have Melinda, or is there a speaker problem?
Melinda, you're on mute.
I was so engrossed in the presentation that I lost track of my muting and unmuting. I'm so sorry. Everyone, I'm Melinda Hughes. I'm the program director of the Sisters program. And it's such an honor to work with this team of people to work on the very important issue of street-based sex trade, The clients, one of the questions in the chat was about how do we get referred clients, and whereas the Benedict Center receives connection through the House of Corrections, through the courts, and through the DA's office, District Attorney's office, the Sisters program is the reaching out into the community and connecting with women who might not even be looking for services yet. It's an outreach program, it's a drop-in center program, and it really is about helping women find hope and live healthier and safer lives. We are helping clients who are struggling with poverty and homelessness or unsafe housing, as Jean mentioned. They may be struggling with substance abuse and addictions, mental health issues stemming from layers of trauma, including childhood trauma. And our first layer of intervention or early intervention is our outreach team. That's Darlene there, loading up the outreach van with winter coats and food and hygiene supplies to take out to the women. She goes on a route that includes the north and south sides of Milwaukee. She builds trusting relationships with women and invites them to engage in mobile case management, crisis intervention services, and counseling and case management back at the drop-in centers. Next slide, please. At our drop-in centers, we have one on the south side located in Hope House and one opened in July on the north side. We offer a clubhouse model in pre-COVID times with a place to rest and sleep, shower area, bathrooms. COVID has thrown a wrench into that, so we have adapted those drop-in centers to be more of a counter service and one-on-one contacts that can be accomplished with safety and social distancing. We provide masks and PPE to staff and clients alike, and we also can offer HIV testing on site. Our clients, as mentioned earlier, have a lot of increased isolation due to COVID, but they also have seemed to experience a vast uptick in violence that they're experiencing. So we advocate for their rights and resources to be taken care of. We provide links to needed resources and partner agencies as well. That's okay. Go forward to the slide. And our street outreach team had almost 1,600 contacts with 228 women from January to September. And we work with an average of 30 to 45 women each month in the drop-in centers as well. Okay. Wanted to have a slide with our various staff members. I wish they could all be here with us today in person, but we have counselors and case managers at both of our drop-in centers. We also work with a number of bachelor's level and master's level interns from various programs in Milwaukee. And we have an outreach team, obviously, and then Kim Miller, our drop-in center supervisor, who helps oversee operations at both the drop-in centers. Next slide, please. We're now going to listen to a brief interview that we were able to arrange. Carolyn, who's the client on the left there, was very gracious with her time and wanted to share some reflections about her healing journey. And Karen, who's her counselor, who's on the right there, will be interviewing her. You'll hear that in the clip. But I just to kind of frame this for you, Carolyn was a client of our warming room last year and has worked with the program a little bit off and on through the years, but she was experiencing a lot of pretty significant health issues. And we were able to get her into emergency housing through a hotel voucher and then move her into a safe haven placement, which was even better because it supported, each shift has staff support. She started working with mobile medication-assisted therapy, and then she was working with Karen as her individual substance use counselor, and she's just made tremendous progress. She's one of our emerging sister leaders. So I want to just turn that over to her because I think she says it best in her own words.
So when you think about your healing process, and things you've been through, what has been helpful or important to you all along the way that supported you in the process?
The Benedict Center. They saved my life. I wouldn't be here today. Literally, when I was literally dying, they went above and beyond me and saved my life. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's really good. I wouldn't be sitting here. I'm almost a year clean, and when it gets hard, I have Karen, Darlene, the whole, just everybody.
So are you saying that you spend a lot of your time, so if you need support, you feel that, there are people there to support you?
Yes. In any aspect that I need, even if it's just a little bit of human contact.
For support.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really important. So the other question I wanted to ask you is when you think about ladies in the street sex trade, what do you think people need to understand about their lives and their challenges that they're facing?
Man, there are so many challenges. Basically, we lose hope because people feel as though we are garbage, and we are not. You never know what may happen in somebody's lives. What brought them to this? Some people are new in the sex trade. I've been in the sex trade just about my entire life, and we need hope and people who care and don't look at us with disgust.
So you're addressing the stigma.
Yeah.
You would say that, are you saying there's a lot of stigma?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
A lot of things, are you saying people don't understand?
They don't understand. It's easier to put, oh, my life is not bad. Let me put them down, to make themselves feel better. And nobody knows what situation that they might be in. People think prostitution is just walking the street. Women sleep with men to pay their bills. They don't realize that's a form of prostitution.
Yes.
So it goes a long way.
So would you say that the Benedict Center has helped you not only with support, but it's helping you find different ways to reach your goals in life, through education or work or
yes. There's so much need, and we need more people to hear about our program. This program's been around. I've been in it since the beginning.
So when was that?
Oh, when she ran it, when we were just in a church room.
What year was that?
Oh man, Jack Ward was 10 years ago.
10 years ago. Okay, so you've been in
and out. But this time I reached out because I wanted it, not because I was being forced. And it's working. Some days are easier than others, but it worked. They have good counseling, good people. And there's somebody in the Benedict Center for each individual because all of us have different needs. But we need more women, more centers, more education to the public about us. It'd be a shame if the center got closed.
Yeah.
It was.
There's a lot of women out there that can use the help that
And then if they don't fit, I've noticed myself from being here, if women come in and don't really fit to this program, I have seen them send the women to where they need to be. So they even help women who aren't necessarily in the sex trade.
Okay.
I've seen it. They don't just turn a woman away. They help all women who come to their door. That's hard.
So, if I were to ask you maybe to describe one word how you're feeling today versus, let's say, a year ago, what would you say?
Happy.
That's good.
Happy.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you, Melinda, for helping set that interview up. I think that Carolyn's words absolutely are the most powerful way to explain the impact of the program. I'd like to now bring Margaret Bailey Stewart.
So when you think about
board, oops, sorry about that. Our board president back.
Thank you, Jean. And thank you, Melinda. So I'm sure you're all wondering how you can help. Donate now to have a direct and immediate impact on women who are a part of our community. You can help increase the health and safety of women who we are working hard to help improve their daily lives. Carolyn's success is an example of her resilience and the Benedict Center's effective services, advocacy, and strategic partnerships. Your gift today will help more women like Carolyn receive treatment, a safe place to stay, and long-term recovery support. Thank you so very much to everyone that already has given to our end-of-year appeal. Your support has been crucial to our success. We need your continued support now more than ever. To donate online, go to www.benedictcenter.org. You can also donate via text, which is like the new thing, by texting the word GIVE, G-I-V-E, to 414-296-6353. Or you can mail the donation in to the Benedict Center Attention Development Office. The address is 1849 North Dr. Martin Luther King Drive, Suite 101, Milwaukee, 53212. I believe someone has posted the ways to donate in the chat to make it easier, because I'm sure no one thought to take out a pen to write all that down. And I tend to go pretty fast sometimes when I'm giving those instructions. So if there's anything that you can do to help support the efforts of the Benedict Center, any amount is greatly appreciated. And as you've heard, will be put to very good use. Okay, and so now we'll go to questions. We had a couple pop up in the Q&A. We had a question from Julie Rice, who had a question for Nosha, I believe. She wanted to know, what % of women in need are you able to assist in the harm reduction program? I'm not sure if Nosha or Jean will be able to answer that, if there's a percentage you can provide.
So I think Nosha would be best to answer the question. I'm happy to help, but just to clarify, I would argue that 100% of the women are able to be served and benefited. I'm not sure if it's more of a question about the success rate, but Nosha, I'll let you take that question.
Any woman that will come to our program to work on any either past or current legal issue, or through CPS. We work with any woman basically that will come to us for those needs. And so in that respect, yes, 100%. Yes, anyone who will be referred to us. So it doesn't matter what stage, what step they're on. Some people have to start with individuals, and then some people are like what we would call group ready, and then some not so much, but then we would work with them until they got to the place where they were able to do that type of work, or we just stay with them where they are and just work with them on that level. So no one is turned away because they aren't appropriate for a certain mode of treatment.
Thank you, Nosha. We also had another question come in from the chat. How do you keep everyone safe during COVID? I'm going to turn that over to Jean or Melinda to.
Thank you. Well, I can say that one of the things that we really had to throw ourselves into high gear about on March 18th, which was, I think, the day the Safer at Home order was issued, was to quickly learn, along with the rest of the country and world, what were the basics and how we were going to apply those to each of our programs. And each program really had a unique response. And in some cases, we're working with our system partners because they had specifically instructed, for instance, the Department of Corrections, women we're working with in community supervision, they asked that we suspend face-to-face visits, and thus the virtual telehealth model that Nosha spoke to. On the other hand, with the Sisters program, which has a different kind of funding, and really the women wouldn't be able to benefit from the telehealth, then it was a different set of responses. Melinda, do you want to give a couple of examples of the specific ways that Sisters has adapted?
Yes, we've been doing a lot of mobile case management and mobile sessions. We're doing housing assessments on a mobile basis now. We've really adapted to maintaining as much of an in-person lifeline as possible, while also keeping staff and clients safe through distancing, even spacing the two staff members who were out in the outreach van in the van, and then doing as much as possible outside until the cooler temperatures have made it even more difficult. But we're committed to figuring this out for the winter and making sure that we're getting folks safely inside and warm, and then connecting them with those lifeline services.
Thank you, Melinda and Jean. And then the final question that we have today is, to what extent do you interact with women's probation or parole officers, particularly in helping with avoiding revocation? What changes have you observed in women's experiences with navigating probation and parole during the pandemic?
Nosha, that's got your name all over it.
Thank you. What we find is that building a collaboration, a connection, alliance with the client and with the probation agent is one of the most effective ways that we found in order to help that woman meet her goals. It generally will come down to us providing support for the client, and then also giving some education and advocating for the woman. Generally, that agent will seek us out for assist and advice on how to help. And if there is an issue that we run into, we will be seen as a someone who they will listen to, take the advice of, give us that chance, that opportunity to work with the woman. And so we, involve the agent as well. So then that way we're kind of like all on the same page and building an alliance together, because sometimes, and more than most times, it's just a matter of miscommunication and just not knowing what that woman will need in order to help her to be successful.
Thank you so much, Nosha. We really appreciate that summary there. All right, so that wraps up our conversation today with Benedict Center Leadership. I hope you all enjoyed this information. If you have any additional questions, Jean's email is listed on the screen. If you would like to make a donation, please feel free to do so online or via text, or even mail that donation in. Again, we thank you so very much, those that have supported in the past and continue to show your support.